And now we're here with Fourth Block Mindset Series, and we're here with Calvin, who is also a music producer. And I thank you for being here today. And to start off this interview, I'm going to ask you, what does success mean to you?
Success? That's a good question. I'll say success is whatever genuinely makes you happy, and whatever your personal endeavors and goals are. If you meet those, I guess that's your success.
Mm-hmm. And when you're, hiring talent, what exactly do you look for in them?
People with good morals, people who move in love, are truly genuine, and they're hard workers and consistent.
Do you look for passion?
Yeah, passion as well.
Okay.
It's actually a crucial passion.
And who are your mentors in life, and how did they affect you?
So some mentors of mine were also lessons, like certain lessons that I took. I don't really like to call them losses, but lessons. My parents, they were pretty good mentors. Also just random, I had like random conversations with just random people throughout my life. Like even sometimes homeless people have told me some things where I feel like they gave me some great like blessings as far as of advice. So I don't really have like specific mentors. My mentors is like just everyday life and taking the lesson in each thing.
Okay. And when learning music production, do you feel sound school is worth it, or is better off to learn it by yourself?
So I learned it by myself, but school did teach me certain things, but I didn't really need school. I feel doing experience is the best way to learn. So digging in by yourself, the best way to do it.
Okay. And here in this class, we don't have, a lot of equipment to work with. So at first, how exactly did you function with limited equipment?
So literally, I had this cheap computer microphone. It was like a little circle and a stand, and I put a sock over it, and I would use that to record like live sounds. And then I had my laptop, and I downloaded FL Studio, and I got the free trial version. So I was just making beats every day in that, but because it was a trial version, I couldn't save my beats. So I would literally make a beat, and then I would export it so I can just have the MP3 to listen to. And I did that for like a year straight until I can afford to actually buy FL Studio, which is only like $200. And then I was making beats, and then kept working on my networking, meeting new people, and then eventually I was able to afford like studio monitors and then an actual studio desk, and then like better software. And that's pretty much how.
For sure. And knowing that you're an audio engineer, and me myself, I actually engineer audio myself, how exactly do you deal with ear fatigue when you are mixing?
That's a good question too. You came with these questions? You came up with these?
Oh
questions?
yeah.
Okay, that's a good question. So I deal with it by taking my ear off of it, and I'll step out of the studio and I'll listen to something else, or I'll just listen to nothing at all. A lot of times I listen to like classical music, which is like random. So like, let's say for instance, I'm mixing like a R&B song. I would completely turn off the song and I would go listen to like movie scores, like listen to Hans Zimmer. He did like the music behind Batman, Interstellar, Spider-Man, different cool movies like that. I'll just listen to random things that I'm not working on. And then I'll go and listen to something else that maybe R&B, like some singing, some Erykah Badu or Sade. And then I'll go back to my song and mix that or whatever, and then I hear it better.
Okay. And your first time in a professional studio, were you intimidated by the equipment?
Now, I was actually intrigued by the equipment. So, because I'm like the type of person, I ask a lot of questions. So I'll be in the studio and I'll be like, what does this do? What does that do? What does that do? And I'll be like, does any of y'all know how to work this? And then I ask them, and I'll be like, okay, well, can I play on it? Like the first thing that really grabbed me when I went to a big studio, because you'll notice in certain studios, I have like pianos that are like on top of each other, and I'm all like, okay, what is this? What is this? And then they'll break it down, and I'll just ask to use it. Like I'm the type I learn by experience. So when I was telling you guys I lost 40,000 in February, that's because I just started really doing like stock option trading, and I learned by just putting money in there and losing money and winning money. So I'm like an experienced learner.
Okay. And knowing that you work in FL Studio and work with plugins, do you feel it's better to have the plugin as hardware or online?
That's a good question too. So hardware, I feel hardware is just, I think hardware is better, but the digital it's still good too. Like especially how good the softwares are these days. Like the technology sounds almost just as good as the hardware. So it's like you don't really need the hardware. But sonically, you'll notice when you put the hardware, it just sounds like just better. Like the sound is more full. Like it doesn't sound as kiddyish. Like sometimes the digital sounds, it can make it sound digital.
Yeah.
And it'll sound like robotic and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to record stuff that sounds like raw and clean.
And out of being a sound engineer and a producer, do you feel like there are any disadvantages of being in that field?
Not at all.
You don't think so?
No. Especially because FL is like the real new popular software.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who don't know, FL Studio is like a software where you can create music in. Like at first people used to talk about it like, oh, FL, that's the beginner software, or it's for the producer dummies. But really, if you go into every major studio now, every studio has FL Studio in there. They got FL Studio, Pro Tools, or they got Logic. It's one of those three, or it's all three. So, no, I don't think so. Especially because FL, it's quick and easy to get your ideas out. And when it comes to the studio, it needs to be quick and like accessible for you to be able to get your melodies and thoughts out. And I feel FL does that real good.
Okay. And if you could do one thing differently in your life, what would it be?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, I would do nothing different. Literally. Everything happens for a reason. Like, I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. So, let's say that's really my answer. But let's say if that wasn't my answer. I would probably go back to 2020 because I lost $120,000 in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And I would take that money and I would invest it probably in real estate instead of, because I put it in the market and it made it go down quick and all of that. So I would have probably put it in real estate first, and then I would have used my real estate profit to put it back in the market and then do more things with music.
Okay. And knowing that you've lost money, and doing business and investing in businesses, what advice would you give to us not to make the same mistake that you did?
Okay. So I'll say, so you said it was a mistake. It was technically a loss, kind of.
Yeah, it's a loss.
Yeah. It is a loss. But, like, I needed that mistake, though. Like, because technically, like, all the millionaires, there's there's not one millionaire on this planet who didn't lose hundreds of thousands before he became a millionaire. So, like, let's say if they never lost that hundreds of thousands or millions before they became a multimillionaire, they may lose that million when they first became a millionaire. So now, technically, I haven't been a millionaire yet, but I'm about to receive a large amount of payment, and I'm going to know now what to do with that money. Like, so if I didn't technically take that loss then, I would have took that loss when I got this money that's about to come.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. So I'll say, so I guess the advice would be, just be aware and talk to somebody who's already experienced in what you want to do with that money. So like, let's say for instance, if you want to get into real estate, talk to like some realtors or people who invest in properties. If you want to get into music, talk to somebody who made music investments and invested in stuff that will help you in your career.
Sure. And when you record an artist, what is usually your recording process?
So my process is, well, first I talk to them because I just like to see what their vision is. So I ask them like, where do you want to go with this song? Like, do you prefer your vocals to be warm or like more like on a cool side? Because warm means like more round. Because some people like that still sound. Some people like dubs and all that. Like some people like to record just one take. So I see their recording process. And then I ask people, how many takes do you like to do? Because some people don't like to do like dubs and ad-libs and all that stuff. Some people like to do this one take. So I like to be on the same page with the artist before we even start recording.
And do you have, an artist that was actually difficult to work with, that didn't know what they wanted or didn't know exactly the vision, and you had to just put it together as y'all went?
Yeah, that actually happened a lot of times. But those sessions turn out to be some of the most fun sessions, though, because then you kind of give them a vision. A lot of times they just don't have the vision, but they have like a lot of talent. Like I've met and worked with artists who's super talented, but not really sure what to do with it. So it's like I'm kind of helping them gear that. It's like it just feels good because it's kind of like I'm helping this super dope person kind of deal. So yeah. Wait, was the question, have I worked with?
Yeah.
Yes, I have, yeah.
Okay.
A few times.
And do you feel that, you know, being in the music industry, do you feel is for artists that they would be more profitable off their music or creating a business off their name and making money off that?
Okay, ask that one more time.
For artists, right? Do you feel that they will make more money off their music? Or if they was to take their name, for example, Lil Baby, and he create many products and make money off that. So do you feel he will make more money off his music catalog or his business ventures?
Definitely the business ventures. But here's the thing. That's the thing with music, though. People think you're going to be a millionaire off of music. So it's not literally the sonics that's making you the millionaire, but because you make music, now you're even able to have all these deals and all that. Like, so you technically still need the music to get you in that door to even be able to make that kind of money. So it's kind of like a trick question kind of deal. So it's definitely the investments that he makes off of the music, though. So because of the music, he's able to have all these endorsements and all of that.
Okay.
So, but I definitely do think the endorsements is going to make more profit than his catalog.
So do you feel it's better for an artist to be independent or signed to a record label?
Independence is always best, but labels put you in positions that a lot of independent artists can't just do. So the difference really between major labels and like independency, and this goes with really any industry, not just music, is just capital for real. Capital and then the networking connections. So it's really two things. And then what to do with those connections. So it's three things. So let's say, for instance, if it's an artist who literally has no idea, he has no mentors, no anything, I would advise him to talk to a label and get signed to a label, because that's what Drake did. Because you got to think, Drake, he was with Cash Money and all of them. I mean, yeah, Drake, he was with Young Money, and he was on Degrassi before that. And then he signed. Lil Wayne and them gave him a big name, and then now he's not with a label. Now he's independent. But technically, he's only able to be successfully independent like that because of that label. So it's like labels will put money behind you, get you on these top stages, get you on these radio stations, and all of this and that. And then after that, you take the buzz that they gave you, and then you use the name that they helped you big up, and then you be independent with that.
And how important do you feel it is to read contracts? Because a lot of artists now are signing 360 deals, and it's really messing with their career, and they're not making a lot of money, and then they want to get out of it, but they can't. So how do you feel, you know, how important it is for artists to actually read their deal before signing?
I think it's very important, like very important. And also, you shouldn't just read it. Like, you should read it, but you should also have different lawyers and different people who really love you but understand the business side, read it. And then you should have them break it down to you. So I feel like, first off, a lot of people don't even read their contracts. They'll just hand it off to lawyers or whatever. And it's like sometimes lawyers even halfway would read stuff sometimes. So I say, you read it and then give it to 3 different trusted professionals. That's, yeah.
For sure. And out of all of your business ventures, which one do you feel out of all of your businesses that's going to be the most profitable for you?
Real estate, learn people. So that's why I say it's kind of like a trick question. Because technically, if we're like down to the basics of it, music is the one that's technically the most valuable, because music brought me real estate. Music brought me this friendship. Music brought me to this school. And it's like, who's to say one day, what if a semester in, you tell me something like, yo, I got an idea with a real estate, da-da-da. And I'll be like, yo, well, I have like 90,000. We should invest in that project. And then, you know what I mean? Then now we got a whole real estate project. But music brought me to you. So it's like, music is technically most valuable.
Okay. And that's all the questions for me. And do any one of y'all have any questions for Calvin?
Music production. So when I was 6 years old, I was born in Boston, and I took piano lessons when I was 6. But the whole time, my cousin was using FL Studio 4. FL's on like FL 20 right now, so that goes to show how long. But I was making beats on FL Studio 4 at like the age of 6. But like professionally, for it, where I got like a dope artist on it, and I was like, yo, this thing can be on the radio, son. That was like 2013. That's when I graduated high school. So, what's that? 11 years? 10 years? 9 years? It's 9 years. So professionally, like 10 years for real. Like really doing it.
And that's all the questions. That's it.
Anybody else?
Question over here.
Anybody else interested in
Kayla
music?
got a question.
So you said you had a son. How old is your son?
He's 5.
Oh, do you bring him like to the studio with you?
Yeah, I bring him everywhere with me. Yeah, he loves it.
Oh, I got a question. Like, what are like some of the names of the artists that you work with that you think we might know?
Okay, that's a good question too. So I actually just these artists I'm about to name, I like recently just connected with them and worked with them. So like Usher, Keith Sweat, Erykah Badu, Bobby Valentino, Donnell Jones, Currency, Nino Calvin, P.R.I.D.E Rock, and then The Weeknd. Those are like the big names. But I ain't gonna lie, they're all great people, but there's people that none of y'all even heard of that I work with that I like better than all of them. But those are like the big names and stuff.
So, like, side question real quick. So, knowing that you worked with P.R.I.D.E Rock, right? So, did his death hit you in any way, form, or fashion?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't like super just like sad, but it was sad. And when I got the news, it did kind of like be like, damn. But it had me more so mad at the fact of that we're out here killing each other kind of deal. It's just like over jewelry and stuff like that. And then that goes back to like the kind of music, how in the last interview, we was talking about if you really put love music, if you put love and high vibrations in the music, people wouldn't be moving on that kind of time. So like when I produced our P&B Rock, because he first got popular on SoundCloud. So like I produced like 3 songs from his EP, and this was like 2013, 12, back, it was a minute ago. But this is when he first got his first like big buzz. And he was even putting like death and shooting, killing, all that. And that's no excuse, but I'm just saying, when you putting that kind of music out there, it literally, like that energy, it comes back. So I personally know P&B Rock. He absolutely didn't deserve that. But I also know there's energies that he put out that at some point had to come back around kind of deal. Like even if he didn't do certain things, there'll be people around him, and you know what I mean, things happen, and things come back, and it'd be unfortunate, but it's like, so it was sad, definitely was sad.
All right, so started with the first one, Papa Rock.
Papa Rock?
Yeah, Papa Rock.
Oh, like
the
soda?
music genre.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you meant like pop,
Nah,
soda pop,
Papa
rock.
Rock.
Papa Rock, pop.
Pop, why you say that?
Pop because pop, you can dance more. I like
Yeah.
stuff that makes you move.
For sure. And Beyonce or Rihanna?
Beyonce.
Why you say that?
Beyonce because first off, I have a beat for Jay-Z. And if Beyonce happens to invite me over, I can see Jay-Z as well.
For sure.
And honestly, vocal range-wise, Beyonce sings better.
You feel so?
You must not know about that higher.
Range? I'm talking about full range, y'all. Y'all don't agree? Okay. Now, range-wise, though, I don't think y'all know. Beyonce can, she can go. But Rihanna, she can sing too, though.
All right, let's go to the next one. Spotify or Apple Music?
So Spotify definitely put me on with way more just new music that I never heard, and I was like, oh, that's fire. Apple Music, I have Apple Music, though. I got an Apple Music account. And I'm also about to get an Apple production deal, so Apple.
Okay, and this one not on here, but I just want to know, if you had to choose between Drake or J. Cole, which one are you going for?
I ain't gonna lie, that's tough. That's tough. Dang, so check this out, man. I literally like grew up on J. Cole. Like from the Come Up mixtape kind of deal. Like before the Come Up.
Yeah.
Like I was like, J. Cole. Dang, that's tough. So if they both invited me over their crib, which crib am I gonna go over?
Well, let's do, if you had to sign either or, which one would you sign?
If I had to sign one,
Yeah.
I'm
If
gonna
you had to
sign Drake.
You're going to sign Drake? Why?
But if both invited me over their house, I'll go over J. Cole's house. I'll go with J. Cole House.
Alright.
But I ain't gonna lie, I'm leaving right after and going to Drake's.
Okay. And besides, FL Studio that you work in, would you rather use Logic or Pro Tools?
Wait, for what? For what?
So you know how you said you work in FL Studio, right?
Yeah.
So if FL Studio didn't exist, let's throw it out the equation. Would you rather use Pro Tools or would you rather use Logic?
Probably live. Probably Pro Tools. Pro Tools.
Or why you
Pro
say that?
Tools. So I like Logic. I actually love Logic. But I say Pro Tools because you can mix vocals and like the sonics and Pro Tools it just sounds way better.
For sure.
Like when you mix songs in it, it just makes the song sound bigger. Like the sonics is just thicker. Like I don't like exporting songs and then I listen and it's like the song sounds weak. You know what I mean? Like when you export stuff from Pro Tools, it just sounds just sonically better, even if it's not fully mixed yet.
For sure. And if you had an endorsement deal, right, would you rather get that with Nike or Jordan? Nike and Jordan are the same thing? No, they're not.
Are they? Actually, I think he does go to Nike distribution centers.
He does?
Because remember, it used to
Nike
be,
and Jordan are the same brand?
No. Nike came out first, and then got Jordan, and then Jordan just went pretty.
What?
That's how it happened. That's how it happened.
Nike and Jordan are the same thing?
Yeah.
Came out with the
Jordans are just Nike.
Yeah, that's true. Like
What?
dunks. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So I guess that question is eliminated.
Yeah. Well, let's go to
I ain't
the
gonna lie,
next.
that was a hard question.
Yeah.
I would have said Nike though.
Music questions?
I have a question, but it's not about music.
You want to go ask?
Okay.
What's your question?
So, you live in Atlanta, right? Mm-hmm. Why don't you live in like Los Angeles? And that's where all like the
Like the music?
celebrities
Yeah.
are. So like,
So
yeah, like California.
that's an interesting question because my sister really wants to go to LA and I keep on telling her like, you can go, but I don't think you should live there. Because also I know a lot of people like in the game for real, and a lot of people in California is coming here. Like a lot of people. This is kind of like the new. They call it the new Hollywood, the Black Hollywood. So it's like that's happening. And California in a few years is happening right now, but they're not even going to be a part of the states. Like all it takes is 3 more hard earthquakes, and they're going to be.
Because I say that too, and then people look at me crazy when I say that. When I say like California is literally about to fall off the map.
Oh no! Well, they're not going to fall off the map, but they're going to float away a little bit.
I feel like living in California is so overrated. It is.
It honestly is, and I don't. Not to come for the straight Cali. I don't want to sound like a Cali hater because I love Cali. And honestly, yeah, right. No, I don't hate Cali. I actually love California. So I'm the type of person to where I want to live. I want to always have like a home here, and I want to have like a place I can go out there. Like I want to buy properties in several spots. Like even Jamaica, I'm gonna have a home in Jamaica, and I'm gonna just go there at different parts of my life and just throughout the year. Like when it's wintertime here, I'm gonna go to Jamaica for like 2 months or something.
So did you go to school for real estate?
Nah, I didn't.
Sure, you just learned it on
You
your
don't
own.
gotta go to school for that.
So this is the last question because I know you have to go. I've been talking to my students about the importance of a personal brand. Can you speak on that a little bit in your industry?
Yeah, so branding is really everything. Like the business part, you gotta have the business like solidified, and then your brand is what you're pretty much showing every day. So that comes with like advertisements, even down to the title of the name. Like branding's so important that you gotta think about your name for it. Like this is what's gonna be on billboards, posters. Like my production name is Genius Art. I chose that name because I feel every human is a genius, technically. It's just a matter of activating it and be really showing your genius. So branding, with my brand, I wanted to choose something that everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
Like that's how important branding is, something that the world can relate to. Because like I said, I feel everyone is a genius. So it's just a matter of what your genius is. My genius or my art is music. So I put that together and then Genius Art. So I'm like a genius in my craft. But branding is everything. Like even with my message, because of how I brand myself, it got me certain connections. Like branding is also how people will reach out to you and how they can see you. So I say branding, marketing is like #1 in business. And yeah.
All right, and that's all for this mindset series.
He had a question.
Oh, you got a question?
I don't have to rush out if they want to keep asking questions.
You sure?
Yeah, this is fun.
Just ask after we're done with, after I wrap it up. And that's all for the Mindset series. Thank you, Calvin, for being on this episode.
Appreciate you for having me.
Woo!